It's time for another month of Beauty Heroes reviewing, and the April box is featuring the UK brand Mamiel. I've had a nice long time to try these products. I think we got the boxes like the second week of April. So I've had some substantial time to interact with these products and test them. I do have previous experience with the brand, and if you watched, I think it was my recent toner lineup video, I reviewed the Mamiel toning mist, and I had some interesting things to say about my impressions and experience with the brand. It's very fascinating to me because I had actually no idea that the products were formulated by an acupuncturist or someone that kind of is formulating from a TCM acupuncturist perspective, among other things. She's also an esthetician and an aromatherapist, Annie Mamiel. I have described previous Mamiel products I've tried in the past from sort of an Chinese medicine elemental perspective. Like, I've felt like some of her products have a dampness to them, which is sort of a quality and terminology that I have picked up over the years that I have been into acupuncture, seen an acupuncturist regularly since 2009. So it's sort of a healing system that I'm quite well versed in as a patient. So the hero product this month is the Intense Nurture Antioxidant Elixir, and it literally feels like opening a present slash a box of Tiffany jewelry. The sidekick is the Exhale Daily Hydrating Nectar, which is essentially a tinted SPF, although it's not yet rated as an SPF. It can't be sold as an SPF in the United States yet, only in the UK and abroad, I believe. So the total value of the box this month is $147. This Intense Nurture Antioxidant Elixir, shoot, I don't know what I did with the little insert. This is always the issue. Hang on, I need to go try and find it. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I can't find it. I actually just found the little insert for last month, but I don't know what I did with the one for this month. A lot of times I'll take them out of the box and like put them with my stuff to take to, like, I'll throw it in my bullet journal and like take it to work to read and stuff. But I did take notes, so I have plenty of information on the products. But what I was gonna say is I think this retails for $125 or $130 something. So the bulk of the value is coming from this product. And interestingly, I was perusing into the gloss yesterday, which is a very millennial publication. I am barely a mill, but you know, I guess technically am a millennial. I was perusing their March, like they do sort of a feature of monthly favorite products and they collect it from like different editors on the site. Someone had picked this product as their favorite product of March, and I thought it was really interesting because to me, this is a very sort of like under the radar brand. I'm curious how that person discovered the brand or the product. I don't know if it's been featured in other subscription boxes lately, or maybe it just really is that our beloved eco beauty products are really no longer that niche. So why don't we start with the Intense Nurture Antioxidant Elixir. As I said, it totally feels like a present opening this box up. The packaging's really beautiful. I was showing some shots on Instagram stories. So it comes like this. It's all their products are stored in this, I don't know if it's like the black mirror glass or whatever. This is an apothecary style dropper bottle. And the product itself is pretty unique. It's a milky emulsion type of serum. Most similar to something like the Honua, what is that product called? The Aloha Youth Serum by Honua. It's also similar to something like Infiore Complex de Fleur, if you're familiar with that product. These are basically non-oily serums, or a serum step, so they would go after toning and before an oil or a cream moisturizer, whatever you're using. You can use this product morning and night. What I find is that it dries down on the skin super quickly, and the first couple times I used it, I almost noticed like a tightening effect. It was really sort of unique and interesting. I'm really upset that I don't have the insert because you would be able to see how complex the ingredient list is. All of her products are like formulated with lots of ingredients, and they are like very complex formulations. So all of the products are made on a small farm in like a one-room barn house type of deal outside of London. And then I think also very noteworthy about de Mamiel is that they're focused on something called first generation and second generation antioxidants. Different antioxidants interact at different phases of the oxidation process. So I'm not sure if that means on your skin, they start interacting at different levels of interacting with your skin in the air. Like, I don't really know, honestly. There wasn't much more detail provided than that. But in this product, the first generation antioxidants are ferulic acid, which is derived from rice bran, and superoxide dismutase. And then the second generation antioxidants are malachite extract, which I only know of malachite, the stone, which I actually think is a very pretty stone. It's a lot of times it'll be mixed with azurite, which is one of my favorite crystals, but it's sort of a very bright emerald green type of stone. So I don't know if malachite extract is somehow derived from malachite, the stone. And then another second generation antioxidant in here is quercetin, I think it's pronounced. In the Exhale Daily Hydrating Nectar. So this is a mineral UV A and B product. It has non-nano titanium and zinc oxide. So I think that that's a really huge plus. So it also has avocado, astragalus, jasmine, neroli, and rice bran, along with many other things. I'll talk more about this because I do have more thoughts on how it compares to other eco tinted sunscreens that I've tried. But I guess sort of more generally about the brand, I took some time perusing the website. So they're a brand that's been around for a couple of years now. I was actually quite intrigued by them. They were first carried on, I think, like Beauty Habit, and then they were featured in an Art of Organics box last year, which was how I sort of was introduced to the brand. And then I had ended up trying samples of some of their like face nectars and the cleansing balm, I think from Beauty Habit. And my impression of the brand was always they were formulated sort of elementally in a way that was not necessarily jiving with me. And I will say, I don't necessarily detect that same quality in this. It was really something that I had detected in the toner and the cleansing balm, almost sort of like a tending towards sour element. That said, even though there was sort of like an odd resonance with the toner to me, I did finish it all the way up, and I do think it was sort of beneficial as a skincare product. Back to what I was saying about perusing the website though, they kind of have two different lines of the brand. One is called Atmosphériques, which is what I believe both of these are a part of, and they're products that are meant to help you face the stresses of everyday life, both physically, so sort of pollution and external environmental stressors that are coming your way. And then they also have products in a line called the Botaniques. And these are more sort of mind-body aromatherapy types of products. I think this is where their sleep range is located, in the Botaniques section. And the Botaniques are intended to address everyday emotional stress. What I thought was quite noteworthy about de Mamiel is they're one of the only brands that I have seen that has a specifically focused approach on environmental stress. They refer to it as stress in de Mamiel, but like environmental impact. The only other two brands I could think of that particularly sort of market that way are Stark Skincare, which is sort of posited as urban skincare for an urban dweller and pollution protection, and then Provise, if you're familiar with that brand. They've only recently started marketing themselves as like pollution protection. Maybe it's going to be a trend in skincare, given that the environment is such a huge issue that affects all of us. De Mamiel does not necessarily formulate for products to have an immediate impact. It's not like the Orgage sheet masks that I was gushing about in my March favorites video. It's like half an hour and you're sort of like wowed. They're products that are really meant to have an impact over time because they're, allegedly helping to rebalance sort of a different level. Now, my only issue with that, which I totally think is legitimate, is that it's sort of, is it really a one-size-fits-all approach? Like, we don't all have, obviously, the same imbalances. Now, ideally, we would all be working with Annie individually and seeing her weekly for acupuncture and be getting customized treatments to address our specific bio-individualized imbalances. So I assume that what she has done is take all of her years of experience and kind of create products based on the most most common imbalances that she probably sees and things that would be the most universally beneficial. And I think that's really all you can ask for, unless you're getting bespoke skincare, which I don't think many of us are. The claim is that over time, you're meant to see sort of a cumulative effect, I think, with regular use. The other thing is that in the production of these products, they're focused on a lot of extras, I would say. So they do things like create 3-word mantras for the products during production. They do things like play high vibrational music. They also will write words on the jars as the products are kind of developing or curing or whatever you want to call it, which immediately makes me think of What the Bleep Do We Know? What the Bleep Do We Know talks about the Emoto water experiments, which were an experiment done by a Japanese scientist who tried to prove that you could change the molecular structure of water by writing high vibrational words on it, like love. And he did sort of a comparison on what the water molecules looked like when they had high vibrational words on it, or that had been like blessed, like holy water by like a monk or a priest or something, versus water that had negative vibration words like hate and things like that on it. I have actually since been told that the science behind that study has been debunked and it's not sound. It hasn't necessarily been proven in, Western scientific rational thinking terms. I actually do believe that you can change the energy and vibration of products through things like prayer and intention. I think it's like totally all for the good that they incorporate things like that into the production of their products. Okay, so in terms of my experience with the products, I've been experimenting using the Antioxidant Elixir morning and night. It works totally fine for both. I don't necessarily have a preference, except that if I had to pick, I would probably prefer to use it in the morning because it is this sort of pollution-proof thing, and so I kind of like that it's arming my skin before going out in the day with all of these amazing ingredients. Yeah, I do like a very generous amount. I would say like half a dropper full, and spread it everywhere, and it will absorb very quickly and sort of give quite a tightening effect. I find that it plays totally fine under other products. No issues with pilling or balling up. Just have had no issues with it pairing with any other products in my routine. The only thing I will say is that because it's such a complicated formula with so many ingredients, this would really be the main star of my skincare show, whether it's in the morning or the evening. So for example, I personally wouldn't pair this with Yen Heal and Hydrate Toner. I would pick one or the other. I just feel like with more than one really complicated formula in a routine, you risk things sort of canceling out, and it just doesn't seem like a good use of product to layer that many things that with complex formulas. So this would really, I would use a very sort of simple toner, this, and then like a few drops of argan oil maybe. And then I would go over with this as a sort of moisturizer SPF type of product. Similar at night, this would really just be the star of the show. I would maybe top this with something like the Iuna cream if I were using it at night, but keep in mind I like to have a very, very simple as possible skincare routine. It's something that I'm gonna have to tell you how I fare with it over time in my 2018 retrospective review. Like it's gonna be, when I get to the end of the bottle, is it something that I think has a place in my routine? Have I seen impacts over time? I will say that I had been in Florida this weekend, which is going to figure into how I tell you about this product. And I came back and my skin was just, sort of parched and dry and needing some help. And this was my serum step the night that I got back. And I have to say, I do feel like, and I used it at night, but I felt like I woke up in the morning already in kind of a better state. So it does seem to have kind of some quickly reparative, restorative qualities to it. And I'm excited to see how I fare with it more over time. Now, in terms of the Exhale Hydrating Nectar, when I first started using it, it does come in a pump dispenser, but the pump stops working very quickly in this little mini size, I think because there's not a lot of product in there for it to pick up. So you end up having to unscrew and just sort of scoop out and deposit. The full size of this is 115, which is quite pricey. It's not, the most questions I've gotten about this are how does it compare to the Josh Rosebrook? I don't really think it's directly comparable. Honestly, the Josh Rosebrook is more of a moisturizer. This, again, dries down like very quickly and very matte. This actually I think would be really good if you have oilier combination skin because it doesn't really deposit any sort of moisture. And if you are dry or dehydrated, it might not be enough, actually. I'm a normal skin type and I find it to be fine. If I use this as my SPF product, I would use a very moisturizing and emollient base or foundation product like RMS on Cover Up or the Vapor Foundation Stick. Those are the most emollient foundations that I have. As far as tint, it deposits essentially no color. I think that some tinted products, and I found the same actually with the Josh Rosebrook, I just think the tint helps to maybe better alleviate a white cast, although I use the Josh Rosebrook untinted day cream and I don't have any issue with that with a white cast at all. But that is definitely more moisturizing, at least on me, than this, although I haven't used Josh's tinted SPF in quite a while. But I have tried it and I just found it to be a little more emollient than this. A couple of years ago, I did a tinted sunscreen BBCC lineup. I had tried one of the Kula tinted SPFs, mineral SPFs, and that's actually what I think this is most similar to. It has kind of, not really like a silicone feel, but it is quite a smooth feel on the skin, and the sort of quick absorption and dry down is quite similar to the Kula Mineral Matte, whatever it's called. I think it's called like a mineral matte something. So I would consider this to have like a pretty matte finish on the skin. As far as the sun protection goes, I know it's not rated in the US, but I think in the UK it might be like an SPF 25, 18 or 25. So I took this as my SPF to Florida. I also decanted a little bit of the Hint Beauty SPF 25. One of the days we were there, we spent some time at the beach. So I burn very, very quickly if I'm in direct sun. So on the beach, I'm like always under an umbrella and always have SPF going. We went to a like beach bar to get a late lunch later in the day. And so this was like 3 o'clock and we were sitting outside, and for 75% of the meal I was under shade, but then the sun shifted, and for about 15, maybe 20 minutes, I was sitting in 3 or 3:30 p.m. sun in Central Florida. I didn't really feel like I was overheating or getting hot, but later that night, I was taking off my makeup and my forehead was burning from the toning wipe that I was using. Sure enough, I had a small burn on my forehead, and I also had a little burn here on my neck where the sun was hitting. I had applied this, at I think like 10 o'clock in the morning probably. I hadn't really touched up. Yeah, I did burn on my forehead using this, but I don't want to attribute it specifically to this product, because if I had been wearing the Hint Beauty or Suntegrity or something, I was wearing Suntegrity on my body and I burned as well. So I just think it's my relationship with the sun, and it wasn't a bad burn. It was already improving by the next day. It was really only sort of a little bit mildly painful. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being sun poisoning, it was probably like a 3 or something. It was a very mild burn. I guess just be aware that you have to be very vigilant if you're like me and in direct sunlight, but I think that that's an issue that's, specific to me and my inability to be in direct sunlight for literally any more than 15 minutes and I'll start to burn. That's just my lot in life. The Polish-Irish side of me did not get the good tanning genes from my Mexican mother. Okay, I think that was pretty comprehensive. I've been recording for far too long, but I hope that this was helpful. I'll just tell you a few other quick things from Beauty Heroes. The Love More promotion is excellent this month, and I'm thinking about taking advantage of it. With any $125 purchase, you get a travel deluxe sample size of the Jane Scrivener cleansing balm. Jane Scrivener is a new brand that Beauty Heroes is carrying, which I'm so excited about. I sort of fell in love with her. She's a good friend of Jordan Samuel's, and so they had done some interviews together, posted on YouTube last year, and she and like Nerida Joy were just such amazing discoveries through Jordan. So I'm really, really happy to see her products being carried on Beauty Heroes because she has very limited US distribution. Her Over Oil cream I was always the most intrigued about, although I don't have an oil heavy skincare routine really anymore. I've heard that the cleansing balm is quite a rose scented product, but in my mind, it's kind of an eco, more natural equivalent of like the Emma Hardy cleansing balms. That's sort of in my head what I think it might be. but I really do want to test it and see. Jane Scrivener is new in the Beauty Heroes shop. They're carrying a select number of her products, including this cleanser, the over oil cream, a Hyaluronic Buzz 2000, which sounds like a serum, a skin foliate, and a skin elixir. So definitely a brand I would like to explore. They're also carrying the brand Osha, which is a brand that's been getting a lot of love lately, I feel like, on social media. I tried their products years ago. They were actually one of the first brands, like in my first year of doing L'Amour, that reached out to me and wanted to send me some products. And I think I just picked the wrong things, honestly, but I would be totally open to seeing what's cooking with them now. And then they are carrying all these Vital Proteins products. As you're probably aware, they're doing a wellness discovery with Vital Proteins. I opted to not receive it because I'm not really into collagen powders personally. See Mercedes Ante-haul, see Mercedes Healthy Living Pet Peeves on Patreon. I've talked about my issue with these things in the past. But I do think if you are into collagen powders, the Vital Proteins are pretty much like the best quality you can get. That's an option. I'll have that linked below if you're curious in checking out that wellness discovery. There's going to be another makeup discovery coming up, and actually 2 fun extra bonus discoveries coming up in April and May. As always, I would just love to hear about your own experience with these products, any sort of thoughts you have or anything you want to share. I learn so much from you every month. This is totally a dialectical relationship on L'Amour. Thank you guys for being the best, and I'll look forward to seeing you in my next video very soon, and it's going to be a Mercedes shops. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.